Strength trials, file 13. Very productive week. Highlight of the week goes to Steve. As you'll see at the end of the week, he took a step, in some unfamiliar territory, and he excelled. So, opened up the week. Dynamic effort bench, 7 sets of 3. This is my second. This is my medium and heavy week, so we worked at 205. The bar was moving well. The chains definitely add a different type of resistance, as I mentioned. It's good though. I mean, we're going to see how it goes next week. This Monday, I should be playing around with around 220, 225 for like maybe five or six sets of 3. So we'll see. Here's Kyle's overhead day, 165 for 5. He's back on Wendler. Wendler's a great program. I just mentioned it to a friend of mine who I teach with, and I'm trying to get him hooked on it because it's a great way to measure strength. The principles are concrete, and if you're ever wondering, just how to track your progress in the weight room, if you're one of those guys that just goes to the weight room and kind of flounders around and doesn't really have a plan, Wendler will be perfect for you. Steve also is on Wendler. Here is 275 for 5. He does a good job driving up. This is Steve's lift by, best one by far. But he's always got great, if you look at his wrist, he's got great wrist position. That bar sits exactly where it's supposed to be so that the leverages work out. So his elbow is driving through his wrist. I sometimes have that barbell fall back into my wrist, which is no good, but Steve definitely has that dialed in. Here's my dynamic effort squat day. I mentioned before I had this cambered bar last week, but it just wasn't comfortable. I felt like I wasn't exerting enough energy, so I threw the safety squat bar on. We threw some chains on there for the first 5 sets of 3, and then the last 2 sets I added that light band from EliteFTS.com. Definitely just driving up. I wanted to see if I could maintain my speed, and I think I did. I took another set after this. It started to slow down a little bit, but it was a good morning. Here's 347 sets of speed pulls. It's just a lot of volume, man. I mean, you're getting close to 20 reps in the squat, 20 reps in the deadlift. Then you're moving into accessories, and I mean, I did chain good mornings and chain good mornings and reverse hypers immediately after that. And it just gasses you, man. About 50 minutes. So make the training hard, and the meet will be easy. I guess I just keep telling myself that over and over. Here's Kyle with 505 pull. He was a little upset with it. He hasn't really deadlifted in a while, but he'll be back with that, moving some big weight soon. Here's Sammy, 380 for 3. Doing a great job right there with his lockout, driving through the top. He's on DeFranco's Strong Bastard plan, I believe. I haven't done enough research on that to really give you guys an update as to what it is, but I will. And hopefully he enjoys it. I know the first week was fun for him. Here's a PR for me, 375 for 1 on the shoulder saver, and then I moved into 225 for 21 reps just to beat Kyle. I know he was laughing at me. He goes, "Did you really do 21 reps?" And I said, "Yes, I did, just to beat you. I'm 1 rep stronger." Even though next week he'll probably come out and do 23 or 25 or whatever, but it's good, friendly competition. Give you a little something to motivate you throughout the week, and it also helps you out. So I mean, I'm getting a ton of volume in my triceps. And really building that sticking point, which is right where the shoulder saver lets off, about a board and a half or 2 board. But followed it up with some barbell rows. I did end up tweaking my psoas a little bit, and I think it's because I wasn't bracing enough. What I mean by bracing is tightening that core and making sure you're pulling from a stable position. I did end up taking a deload the next day on Saturday because of it. So we're going to see how that plays out. Currently, once I finish this video, I'm going to go to hot yoga, and you heard it correctly. I am going to hot yoga. See if I can work some things out, sweat a little bit, get a little mobility in, and hopefully feel a little bit better for next week. That was Kyle's 5-3-1 day, or sorry, that was his, I think it was his 5's week or his 3's week. But he ended up doing 270 for 8, and then he followed it up at 200 for 6 on the incline. The incline is a great accessory movement to your bench press, whether that's on a speed days or max effort days. It really hits the front delt where it's supposed to, and trains the lockout because it's a longer movement. As I told you before, this is my deload. I took a deload, just did 5 sets of 12 on the hyper. I did 5 sets of 12 on the psoas sit-ups. You can find them on westsidebarbell.com. And I also did 5 sets of 12 or 10 on the GHR. So Yeah, I mean, it felt good. I didn't really have any pain. I just didn't want to be that meathead and end up hurting myself again. I do have a meet coming up, so it's not extreme pain, but it was enough to make sure that I backed off and played it smart. I'm happy that I made that decision because I feel better today about it. As I said in the beginning, lifter of the week goes to Steve. Here's 380 for one on the camera bar. His PR in wraps is 385. I'm really happy with him. I told him to make sure he puts weight on that he has to think about. You have to be able to think and challenge yourself. Here's 400 with a little reverse band, but they're only light or little mini bands. So I mean, he definitely handled that. I think he could have got that on his own without the mini bands. But I'm happy that he tested the process. He challenged himself yesterday morning. He made it worth his while. He followed it up here. These are just chain good mornings with a vest. We have some hip distraction there with a average band off my rack. But those are definitely a killer. 3x20 he did. He can't really count the 20. I'm sure he did like 3 sets of 18. But anyway, here's Kyle finishing up the week. A strong 405 for 5 squat. He's working on being more explosive out of the bottom of the squat. Just trying to really engage everything. You look up cat squats, compensatory acceleration squats. They're not dynamic effort squats, but they're similar. They're kind of in the same class, making sure you're moving that barbell as fast as possible from the bottom to the top. And he's using the safety squat bar just to make sure he keeps his shoulders healthy and challenges his upper back. Hopefully you guys have a good week. Stay safe and stay strong.